we're back on another exciting episode of Starfleet Boy, where we have a casual and informal conversation about Star Trek. Today we're focused on Star Trek Lower Decks penultimate episode of season 2.
I agree with that comment.
Douche. What's that?
I agree with the comment that's on screen. I felt like I heard Michael Dorn at some point.
I never felt like it, but I did feel like I heard J.G. Hertzler, and he was not in it at all. But
so yeah, people were doing their best Klingon impressions, right?
Yeah, I think so. But yeah, we didn't, and he's not on the credits or in IMDb, but who knows what next week has in store for it. I don't know why I did a Pakled voice. Just who knows? Dorn Michael.
That's what I tried to do with this. You know, I am a man on the internet.
I am a man on the internet. This is a show on the internet called Show.
Welcome to video YouTube.
Paul's like, are we just gonna shit on Pakled the whole stream?
It's like, I gotta go. Sorry.
No, don't leave. Oh no, but you did freeze. Oh, or I froze. One of us froze.
It's probably me.
I'm the one. I think I'm the one who's frozen. But anyways, welcome back, gentlemen. Thank you for joining me today. Anyone want to do like how Toddy did like a quick summary last week? That was great.
This is kind of difficult to do a quick summary for.
All right, do this. You can just do the.
I can try and do it, but like it's not a quick summary. It's R&R time, rest and relaxation time for the Cerritos. They all get time to chill out. But of course,
because we're on a 12-hour haul, right? Like it was like a crazy 12-hour warp haul, I think.
But our lower deckers decide to, or have organized each like their own little getaway, each with I guess different people from the bridge crew. And Boimer feels a little left out. Mariner's doing a thing with the mother she's not too enchanted with. Tendy's going rock climbing on a very familiar rock face with Dr. Ta'ana. Rutherford's spending some bear time, I guess, with Shax. Not talking about Bajor because it's inappropriate. But Boims is left out, doesn't know what to do, so he tries a bit of each. He tries a bit of everything, and simultaneously we get a very fun and unexpected concept where we start following the lower decks on various ships that from various species in Star Trek. We follow lower deckers on a Vulcan ship, lower deckers on a Klingon ship. We kind of get a glimpse at lower deckers on a Pakled ship one moment, and the joke ends with the lower deckers
on the Borg ship.
On the Borg ship, which is every single drone that is not the Queen, basically. No, there's probably like hierarchical importance, I guess, depending on like what their duties are. Anyway. The whole plot is we learn this builds in or ties into the overarching plot of Lower Decks, where the Pakleds have been trying to attack or trying to, I guess, amass an army or maybe an arsenal to fight the Federation. But this is all being now funded and kind of I guess controlled, puppeteered by a certain Klingon commander.
We knew it was the Klingons all. Well, no, we didn't know for sure, but I suspected it was the Klingons.
You suspected it was the Klingons?
I did.
Why? What clue led you to suspect
I didn't. I would have gone maybe Romulans, but the Klingons were this Klingon commander was being very Romulan-ish in the way he was scheming and plotting and doing his things. And so basically the whole thing comes together when we kind of follow, I guess, outliers or lower deckers that are a little different or that play by different rules. We're kind of like following, I guess, the mariners of each ship when like one Vulcan decides to scan a little further.
I would say the Klingon lower decker main guy was a Boimler, but anyways, we can get into
that. Yeah, maybe we can get into that. What I meant is Mariner doesn't like to follow. She likes the Starfleet rules or she likes the Starfleet ideals, but she likes to apply them differently. And I think that's what kind of they were going for. They were going for that with like the Vulcan. She was not applying the Vulcan logic in the same way as the others. And then of course the young Klingon, maybe he's more of a Boimler. He's like a Boimler-Worf hybrid, where he's like all about the true honor of the Empire. And not scheming and having Pakleds fight their fights. Anyway, everything ties together when the Pakleds idiotly detonate their bomb when they didn't think that they should because they thought they could detonate it a second time. They blow up a rock, a passing asteroid. It emits a certain beacon or a certain what is it, signal, radioactive signal, whatever it is, that the Vulcan ship
something
picks
like
up on.
Metreon particles or something like that.
Yeah, the Vulcan ship picks up on. The Vulcan ship comes and saves the Cerritos, which is probably going to get fucked up by a Klingon ship and a Pakled. What do they call it? A Pakled reconstructed ship.
This one was a clump.
The clump ship.
A clump ship.
Yeah.
Pakled. And then so the Klingon captain gets killed by the lower decker that then becomes captain, and he goes to tell the Klingon High Command, so they leave. The Vulcans just piss off because that's what they do. And they move along their lives, and of course the Paklids went back to Pakled planet, I guess. And that's it. Oh, and what was the conclusion for Boimer? What happened with him?
He found out that.
Oh yeah, he did the whole Hawaiian thing with Ransom.
Yeah,
he wanted to become a Hawaiian, but no one's Hawaiian.
Yeah, no one's Hawaiian. But he found out that he doesn't have to lie to fit in, and also that he's really respected by Ransom.
Yeah.
Because Ransom sends over like a cadet.
A Wesley Crusher. He gets sent like a young Wesley Crusher.
Right.
And it really is like a spotlight on how good Boimer's growing more than Mariner. I feel like they're doing a better job with Boimer than Mariner at the moment. Maybe she'll get more time to shine. Anyway, so Boimer gets his little moment at the end where they send him like the little young cadet. And like the young cadet is inspired by Boimer the same way Boimer like looks up to Riker and that kind of stuff. And it's kind of cute. Is that good enough?
Yeah, it's good.
It was
enough,
difficult.
It was a good summary.
Rough.
Yeah, it was like a decent summary.
Paul's not impressed.
Which is good because I'm glad you don't give away everything in the summary like I do, because then there's stuff to talk about. But real quick shout out to Trekkie Dave. Trekkie Dave, I'm so sorry I'm really behind on my comments. I know there's YouTube comments I haven't answered, but I see your comments and I love you. And everyone go check out
I've seen a couple of your videos. I don't comment on everything, and I took the time to watch a couple of your videos, but I gotta say this: I don't watch videos from like anyone.
Yeah, he doesn't watch our videos.
Anyone, like, they'll be offended. But I thank you because you shouted me out, and you shouted like a whole bunch of us out. So thank you for that.
But it's very much appreciated, and to everyone who's been leaving comments, I apologize. It's really bad form for a YouTuber not to answer comments, but I've been.
How dare you, sir.
I know, it's really bad. Good job.
Red alarm. Red alarm.
Red alarm.
So good.
Red alarm. I guess we could. I guess just opening thoughts for me is this. I sound like a broken record, but this is my favorite episode of the season. I think last week's episode is still my favorite episode of the series and in general, but this is definitely another. What happened? Are you stopping me?
I don't know. No. I'm out of focus.
Oh, it's so weird. All right, cool. Anyways,
videoing correctly.
I thought it was super fun to get glimpses of Lower Decks life on the various ships, and I think the title Wej Duj means 3 ships, if I'm not mistaken. I forgot to translate it, but if someone in the audience,
it was written on Klingon on screen. I was like, oh god.
Wait, what's that?
The episode title, like the.
Oh yeah, that was cool too. That it was in Klingon. Yeah, it was written.
But you are right.
Stuff. Yeah.
You're right about the translation.
Oh, it is 3 ships. Okay, cool. I like that. Yeah, and it was just very cool. Like I kind of the scene where they're having I love space battles, but the scene where the Vulcan ship just like appears and blocks the fire from the Pakled clump ship, I was just like jumping up and down with joy.
It was well executed because it's coming, right? It's not unexpected.
Yeah, but just the music,
but
and
it was very well executed.
It was like, and speaking of the music, it was very good, especially in those last scenes. I had noticed, maybe it's just me, but they might have reused like a little bit of the music from
Vindicta.
Vindicta, yeah, you noticed it too. Okay, cool, yeah. So, yeah. But other than that, like it was just like. I think everything else was a fresh new music, and it was really pretty and good.
No, actually, it was.
Is there a Pakled theme?
Wait,
or not?
Now he's.
Yeah, he's frozen.
Now he's frozen.
No, he's pretending to be frozen. I can't tell.
Okay.
Did the Pakleds have a theme? I haven't noticed or not.
There's at least a little bit of like a motif that Chris Westlake has been employing when the Pakleds attack, which is like the the trumpets like really like blare and do this kind of I can't describe it to you, but there is like a certain sound that he seems to be employing for them. I can't say it's a theme. I was gonna say about the Vindicta music, it sounded to me like it was not specifically, it was like definitely like music taken from the episode, but not like wholesale, just like, oh, here's a piece that we already recorded and we're just going to drop it in. Like, it sounded like it was fresh for the episode. That was my,
like
I pay attention
right.
to those kind of stuff, but yeah.
It
wouldn't bother
had
me.
like some.
Like, it wouldn't bother me if they did that. And also, they have like the added excuse of being like, yo, we're trying to be a 90s show so we can reuse sets and musics and costumes and shit.
I think the music in Lower Decks TNG would have been really great if it had this kind of music. I mean, like, I don't like hate the music in TNG, but it's a lot of time. Someone, I think Paul described it, or someone as like back wallpaper music. Like, it's just like wallpaper of music. Like, it's, you know, kind of just there.
Totally,
there are occasions where you get like a motif or like a theme or something that shines through, especially the Klingon theme. They seem to use, you know, a lot in TNG.
Yeah.
But yeah, so yeah, that whole thing was just like pretty rad. And I like so like we know it's the Klingons. Okay, so that was one of my guesses. I didn't know for sure. You were asking earlier, but I also thought Lore might be behind it, and I also thought someone else, I forget at one point. But I thought Shax might be some like way early when Shax came back. I thought, oh, he's like some kind of like changeling.
I still can't believe they just brought Shax like that. I'm like, what the hell?
They just brought him back. Like, no, it's fine. And this felt like Shax, like in this episode when we got the scene where he's like,
I in my opinion, he's felt like Shax since the beginning. I haven't felt like some of you guys were kind of feeling sometimes he was a little different. I haven't felt that. I was like, it's just Shax. But anyway, not enough Kayshawn, I guess. That's all.
Yeah.
That's all I'm getting from this. But
Ulysses, hey, what's up? Ulysses the Pagan says Vulcan Mariner and Klingon Boimer counterparts were pretty neat. Do you think T'Lyn will be transferred to the Cerritos or another starship that they will cross paths with? I hope
T'Lyn. If the show's like long term setting up the final crew.
Oh, interesting. That'd be nice. Yeah, I hope T'Lyn makes it to the Cerritos. I think she's an awesome character.
She's too good for the Cerritos.
She might be. She might be transferred to the Titan. Who knows? Yeah, it's true. She's got that spunky spirit.
Oh my god, she ends up like dating Boimer, but not Boimer. What's his name? William Boimer.
Trekkie Dave's comment was the most cinematic. I meant to read your comment too, Trekkie Dave. The most cinematic. That's how I would describe this episode. It was very cinematic. It's true. Even the warping effect seemed cinematic at the end when when the Cerritos is going off. And I think the Vulcan ship, was that like a new design that we haven't seen before?
Yes, it's an updated like modern design of like what they used in Enterprise.
In Enterprise, that's what I thought. Yeah, it had like some cool features to it. Too bad our like ship horror is not here today. Like to talk about it. Shout out to Matt.
I feel like the art style was like this was a new art style for Lower Decks when it comes to like the ships and the space battles though, because like they use CG or like 3D elements in the show for like I guess like ships and that kind of stuff, or asteroids, that kind of stuff. But this time it felt even more different. It felt very painted. Like all of the ships, the Pakled clump ship felt painted. I know it's not hand painted, but I guess they have like filters or effects that have that style, I guess.
Yeah, I don't see that.
You don't see that?
No, I don't see that.
It's if you go back and compare this, like these battles of these ships, to like even the Vindicta ones, or like the other battles that we've seen, like from the finale on season 1, everything felt kind of different. But I liked it. I liked the style that they went for.
I mean, it looked great.
Yeah,
and that Klingon, the bird of prey, was just like so faithfully rendered. You know, I mean, the Klingon bird of prey is unchanged since Star Trek 3.
It should appear in the 32nd century.
You're right. Yeah,
completely unchanged. Like no detached nacelles or wings or whatever. It would be like pretty awesome.
Yeah.
The inside is an Apple store, but the outside is like the exact same thing.
They just the dirty thing is just like an affectation for the Klingons. They're not really dirty ships. They just like them to look that way.
It never made it to. I know you wanted to say something, Paul, but it never made
Sure.
it to canon. But that same bird of prey style before used to also be a Romulan bird of prey for the longest time. So you could have either and I forget what the explanation was.
No, it's not that one.
Okay.
Yes.
Here's the thing, because I'm actually writing a video about it right now.
Oh,
About the bird of prey. So I was like really glad that I didn't publish it, because there's like this whole thing with the bird of prey that just happened. It
That's
was
awesome.
in the script as a bird of prey initially because the villains in Search for Spock were going to be Romulans. And then they decided to switch them for the Klingons because they're like the Romulans just look like Vulcans back then anyway. So they switched them to the Klingons, and they kept the bird of prey. And they initially said in the script that the bird of prey was stolen from the Romulans, and then they even dropped that. And the writer of the movie, Harv Bennett, has said that his assumption was that the bird of prey was a Klingon ship that was like born of the Romulan Klingon alliance, which is mentioned in the original series. There you go. But now it's retconned out though by Enterprise, because in Enterprise you get a Klingon bird of prey well before the Klingon Romulan alliance.
Oh, damn Enterprise!
Dunzo on that one. Yeah.
Dunzo indeed.
Hey, look, Enterprise, they did really good things for canon and really shit things.
That was a cool little preview of your article for the bird of prey. Thank you for.
Oh yeah, sure. I gotta plug something.
That's awesome. Let's see. What was your favorite segment of which ship did you like the most?
The Vulcans for sure. Like I loved how they kept telling T'Lyn like I don't like your tone. Essentially, is what they kept saying to her. And the tone is the same as everyone else's. You know, it's like.
Her outburst,
yeah,
like
her outburst,
he kept saying,
yeah.
like it's your outburst. It's like...
Well, there's a moment where she like storms off. She just walks away, and all three of them are like, they're just standing there. They've got no expression, but you feel that they're completely shocked and appalled.
And they're like very catty Vulcan. She is completely out of control. But like.
I love the whole scene in the meditation room where she's like she's basically like, why are you going to tell on me or whatever? And she's like, if it will mean to help you, yes I will. And then she'll be like, I don't know, I just loved all the formal way of speaking, but they were like totally ripping into each other and like
Vulcans are bags of shit.
Yeah,
God,
they're such douchebags, man.
Truly. I got really attached to our like little Klingon guy there. I was really rooting for him, and I felt sorry for him when like the big Klingon fell on him and then he had to walk the Tog. And then I like the moment where they like he's fighting the captain and the Tog gets angry. You're like, oh, this is so cool. I was sure that, like, I don't know if they did it on purpose, that it was like evident, but of course the Tog was going to defend him, right? I was like, oh, it's so cool. He's bonded now with the dog. I don't know. I like that. I was very much attached to that.
It also gave me all the feels when that stupid ass captain kicked the Targ, and he was like, you hear it.
Oh, it's because they did the
little hurt Targ thing. No. And it was like, no. I was like, no.
Go back and watch a movie. They're disgusting creatures.
And I mean, well, I guess like is that a Targ in Star Trek 3? Because the pig Targ comes from TNG. So what is that? What's the thing in Star Trek 3? Paul knows this too, maybe.
I don't remember offhand, but it was something like Klingon Hell Dog or something.
A Hell Dog, yeah, okay,
something like that. It was something like that. Yeah, it's not a Targ.
Targs are based on pigs, which is cool.
There's a moment where what's the Klingon captain's name? Is it Dorg?
It was I have it here. Dorg, Captain Dorg.
They like get a hail from the Pakleds, and he screams Pakled at them for some reason. He just says Pakled, like
Pakled.
Yeah, why? It was so weird. I just like really tickled me. I don't know why.
The moment where he gets angry for the first time, when he becomes very, I don't know, patriotic or like intense for the first time when he's like in his quarters. there's a moment where he gets mad, and they animated his eyes to get all really weird for like a split second there. Like the animation was so flawless.
It was also very
Yeah,
like it was very graphic too. When he gets stabbed, his eyes turn kind of bloodshot too, and like a little bit of that reddish pink.
yeah, but they did do the pink blood, which was
They
great.
did, yeah. So that's
It's
cool.
like that fuchsia blood, right?
It's
And then
Pepto Bismol is what they used in Star Trek 6, if I'm not mistaken.
the guy even like one of the Klingon officers even says pinkish red blood or something, or reddish pink blood. He
Yeah,
says
Yeah,
that specifically.
yeah, he does. Yeah,
yeah,
it is cool that they brought that back because we lost it in TNG, DS9, and everything. I don't think we've seen pink blood since Star Trek 6 on a Klingon. So I love that Mike McMahon uh, decided to bring that back, and Mike McMahon and co. Um, Going back to the Vulcan ship for a second, I thought it was interesting that like Vulcans are completely only doing scientific inquiry type stuff. There's like no like everything she was pretty rebellious because everything she did caused them to like basically veer off course and like had she not done
Save
any of
someone.
that and save someone, yeah, and had she not done any of that, they would have just kept going on their course, and so nothing would have happened. Like
That's why they're the
literally,
worst species ever. Like, if you're out there struggling, anyone will come. Even a Klingon might find like a reason to go into battle and kill someone. Maybe they'll die just to save you. A Ferengi will come and save you just so they can like barter for some of your ship or something, like a shuttle. The
the
Vulcans
Vulcans are
will
like the
literally
universe
just
will
go by.
unfold as it should as it's
We
meant
have
to
to
be.
kind of check out what's going on over there in that wormhole. It's not time stuff because time stuff doesn't exist.
Oh yeah, they
Like they're
don't.
just
Right,
gonna
that's
God damn.
well, I mean, I have
You
to.
really
I
go ahead. Go.
the nerd in me like really has to ask what the Vulcans are even doing, because in Enterprise I thought no, I was like in Enterprise I thought they established that the Vulcans kind of like scrapped their like Science Academy fleet, you know, the High Command
Mm.
fleet rather. And then this ship was clearly like of that same type. So are they still like doing scientific missions outside of their affiliation with Starfleet? Like that kind of I thought that the Vulcan, you know, fleet was sort of like wrapped up into, rolled up into the Starfleet. But I guess they have, you know, occasion to do their own scientific missions. But that was a little bit strange to me.
That's a continuity thing that has been bugging me for years. So in my mind, I've always wanted Star Trek to give us like Andorian ships, Vulcan ships, etc. Right, like the modern versions. And Lower Decks is giving us that. We've seen glimpses of like newer Andorian style ships. This is a clearly a newer Vulcan ship. But technically, like as it is within the canon, as it stands, what we know is that they've all been folded into Starfleet.
Right.
But from what we're seeing, I think it's just safe to assume that Starfleet is like the major force, but each species still has like their own little, I guess, their own little mission going on with their own little fleet going on because it's
Yeah.
part of like their cultural identity. It would make sense to want to like perpetuate and carry on your own designs, your own missions, your own interests, even if you're part of like a bigger thing.
Yeah,
I
I
know
mean
that.
that's fair. They just like I didn't think that as much as I like appreciated the like the throwback to Enterprise, the way the ship looked. Like it didn't actually look like the 24th century Vulcan ships that we've seen, which are very like dinky and like junky little things that you
The
know
thing
like
from TNG is disgusting.
you're right. The thing that kind of looks like a little white Romulan warbird. You know, that was kind of like I would have liked it if they kind of continued that design lineage, and you know, but it's fine. That's just me being a like a
Yeah,
total
everyone gets cooler as time passes, except the Vulcans. Their ships just get more and more terrible and ugly.
yeah.
They don't care about aesthetics at all.
Stress-free cases. I always saw the Vulcans having autonomy over their fleet, which is why they still have ambassadors to the Federation. Interesting. I never thought about that. Their ambassador Sarek is like not on another world.
Well, he's not an ambassador.
He's the
He's
Vulcan
an,
ambassador, I guess, in a weird way.
he is, but he's like an ambassador for like he's not necessarily a local ambassador for humans. Like
So he's like a Federation ambassador. He can go out and do
yeah,
different
he
missions,
ambassadors for like
for the
alien
gotcha.
other alien species.
They made
Yeah,
a
that was my-
distinction. I mean, I sometimes hear this in Star Trek, and I think it's like it just depends on like what the writer chose to do, but usually you say Starfleet vessel, and I know a Starfleet vessel is a part of the Federation, so it's technically a Federation vessel. But here, when the Vulcan ship arrived, the Klingon captain was like, "Target the Federation vessel instead of the Starfleet vessel." So I wonder if like this is if there's a Federation fleet, like a
Who
different
said
fleet
that?
altogether.
The Klingon said
The
that.
Klingon said that, yeah, target the Federation vessel. But I've also heard that on TNG referring to the D. So I mean, like, it just depends. I guess it just depends. Like,
Maybe it's just this Klingon's personal, because like he seems to be very much against the powers that be, so he's just designating like it's the Federation. Screw them, right?
Yeah, in
Right,
fact, I can't tell you any time that I can remember where somebody's referred to it as a Starfleet. But I mean, I guess they say Starfleet ship, but like, I mean, Picard used to say the Federation Starship Enterprise, right? He didn't say the Starfleet
He
ship
did?
Enterprise.
Oh
He would say the
yeah.
Federation Starship.
Yeah,
So
you're
that's
right.
not really very conclusive. But
Yeah.
yeah, I mean, Toddy's explanation for why the Vulcans still have their fleet is fine. It's just not quite consistent with what happened on Enterprise, but it was a good episode. So, and
I do like
like
that. Go ahead.
go.
No, I was gonna say inside the Vulcan ship, I like that it looks like those hotel lobbies that they redress, or those hotel like conference rooms or whatever that they redressed on Enterprise to look like Vulcan environments. Like they have like the weirdest environments and stuff like
Well,
that.
what it looked like was the interior of the Vulcan ship from Fusion on Enterprise,
Oh,
almost identical to that ship, which was supposed to be an older design. So the Vulcans are really hanging on to their design aesthetic.
Well, they're very anchored in like tradition, right?
They
Like
are,
they don't
yeah.
they don't have
oh
feelings, so
yeah, it
clearly there's no
100% does look
sentimental
like that.
value. Clearly not. That would be such an offensive thought. But yeah, no, they're very traditionalists. I guess they're very conservative in a way.
Is Fusion
Yeah,
that crazy episode where T'Pol gets like a mind meld virus or something like that?
yeah, that's the one.
Oh yeah, that's the one. All right, I
I'm
remember
sorry,
that.
but the Vulcan captain looked like fucking he looked like a vampire. Like they designed it. He's got the thing here. I don't know. He's terrifying.
Like a vampire. Um, I liked all the Vulcan. I'm with Paul on this one. That was my favorite segment. Was the Vulcan segment, and the Klingon was like a real close second favorite segment. But I like the Vulcans a lot. Like I am always, unlike you, Toddy, who's sick and tired of them and hates them. I think the Vulcans are pretty cool. Their potential is
I think
great though.
Enterprise made them a lot more interesting. I want to say, and I want to eventually see a conclusion to like this Vulcan extremist group that's been going on. It existed in Enterprise. Discovery gave us more of that. It's like persisting, and they've got terrorists. They've got Vulcan terrorists going on. Like I want to see some sort of conclusion to that eventually.
I wouldn't hold
Now,
my breath.
I definitely want to know more
They're
about
the ones
Talin.
that blew up the bloody Hubbus. They're the ones that created the Romulan supernova or something. Like, give us something like that.
Talin's interesting. She seems like she follows Spock's teachings a lot because she uses the one phrase that he always says, which is "logic is only the beginning of wisdom." So yeah, she might be a Vulcan, like a a new kind of Vulcan. Maybe not an extremist, but like maybe a more progressive
She's the
Vulcan.
opposite of an extremist.
Yeah,
She's
yeah,
not a logic
exactly.
extremist. She's a logic realist.
Realist. I like
Uh,
that. Yeah, it's totally true.
I have more. I have very few complaints, but my complaints about the replicators carry on. As Kayshawn says, he's getting fat by eating shit from like the replicator. I'm like, that's not how it works.
It's
It shouldn't
not.
work that
maybe
way.
you can choose to have like real,
You think?
I don't know.
I
Wait,
It
how
feel
does?
like
just
I feel like Reich. I feel like Riker got fat because he was eating real food on his planet. You know what I mean? That
Well, no.
he was hunting his
Well,
bunnycorns, right?
he got fat between seasons 2 and 3. How did that happen?
yeah, and also I feel like the. What are you saying that the replicators can't make you gain weight? You can't eat fatty foods from the like. Is it
You
No,
eat
but
a
is
lot
it
of food.
it's
because
all
we
it's all.
discussed? You think it like I know it can provide supreme nutrition, but I think if you order intentionally fatty foods, you're gonna still get fat or whatever foods
I don't
you
think
know.
so. That's not how it worked in my mind. In my mind, it's just like resequenced matter or whatever it is. So you always get like the appropriate dose of resequence. I guess like simply if you eat too much of it, then it is still matter that you're ingesting. But I to me there wasn't. It was like always
Remember though, it's
a
matter
balanced
resequenced
amount.
as food items, like so resequences proteins that your body could digest with the proper amino acids
So
and
you would still
and
have to eat healthy in the future. That sucks.
yeah, 100%.
How I can't live in Star Trek
I'm
anymore.
vaguely remembering a live discussion you and I had where I might have misled you into thinking that the replicators.
Oh, you think this is your fault now?
Yeah,
I
it might be
blame
my
you.
fault. Like I may have been like arguing for the sake of
I
argument or
wanted to
something,
eat
but
just garbage in the future, and now I
I like
can't.
I like this phrase. I can't live in Star Trek anymore.
You've ruined it for me. Okay, so
Ulysses the
Kayshawn's getting
Pagan
fat.
says, "I'm just curious, why on Lower Decks there hasn't been reference to disco as of yet, because it's classified. Remember, Ulysses, the Pagan. That's why no one knows about the Discovery
There hasn't.
post season.
You just
2.
got your biggest reference to disco this episode with the
Yeah.
Ritos T-shirt.
That's true.
Yeah.
That was a good reference. I need a Ritos t-shirt. Oh, we're supposed to like everyone tweet and get Lower Decks trending because Star Trek will create a Ritos t-shirt. So hashtag Lower Decks, Star Trek Lower Decks, and
I mean,
tweet
that's
all
already
about
in the
it.
works. They're already working on it.
Yeah. I think
They
the
better
Ritos shirt
be.
is definitely gonna happen. It's
Because by the time usually by the time they like release episode specific merchandise, it's like so late and we just don't care anymore.
I still need to get the Cerritos bar, like there's a bar shirt with the olives and stuff like that, so I still need to get that, and I think there's a martini glass with that logo on it too. I hadn't noticed the PTSD part to Shaxx, but now it all makes sense to me. They've dropped it a couple times, I think, throughout the show here and there, but this was like a very overt situation. He like freaked out. In that scene, and I like that Rutherford
He almost
calmed
kills
him down.
Boimler, right?
Yeah, he goes. I do like the line where he says, "Fighting fascists is a full-time job," which is true. It is a full-time job. But yeah, that was interesting about Shaxx. And I like that it was cute with Rutherford saying, "Papa Bear, calm down," and like he's still part of the bear pack from last season, so that was really nice. And he was trying a new soup with Billups. I mean, Rutherford's living my dream. Like he's having a great old time. Uh, what did you guys think of the different holodeck or the different like recreational scenarios, and which was your favorite, Paul?
What there were only
There was
okay, so
Tiana. Oh,
there's
sorry.
the Go Climb a Rock, the Yosemite thing. And then there was we're just talking about the off time activities,
Yeah.
right? So like
Yeah. But
I
all of
mean,
them were on the holiday. Weren't they all on the holiday?
no, because
Tiana.
the
Not Shaxx.
only
Yeah,
the
you're right.
two, the Hawaiian and the Yosemite were on the holodeck, and then you had you had
It was the Freeman and Mariner shooting at things.
Oh yeah, they were shooting.
yeah,
at stuff too,
that was in like a hollow suite or something because it was like a smaller space, but it was identical, which is my point, is it was identical to the like shooting range on Voyager, which again, nice little touch there,
yeah.
guys. But as I am working in ceramics, I'll just say that my favorite was getting to see Shaxx and Rutherford and Jennifer throwing pottery.
Throwing pottery. Is that the correct term, by the way? Throwing, you throw pottery, or
Yeah.
Oh,
I mean,
very
that's
cool.
what they're doing with the wheels. Those are throwing wheels, but that's actually not what I do. But still,
Have
still
you ever
fun.
done? Have you ever done that kind of? Have you ever thrown?
No, I have never thrown pottery, but it was well rendered. I'll say
Very
that.
cool.
Yeah.
I would love to try that style of making like a vessel of some kind or a bowl or something like that, and
A puppy dog
It's very
ashtray.
difficult.
Yeah, it is very. It is. It looks easy because it's like they make it look so pretty.
Oh,
like
yeah,
when you
yeah,
see,
yeah.
it's so pretty and everything. But I imagine it's not as easy.
I
as
remember
it looks.
trying this once as like a school activity when I was younger, but like getting the thing to actually, well, I mean, you're not as well coordinated, I think, when you're a child, maybe when you're not used to doing it, but to get everything like parallel and what have you is very complicated. Get everything like level.
Yeah, everybody go watch the great The Great Pottery Throwdown, which is like a spin-off of the Great British Bake Off. It's really
No
good.
way.
It's really good.
Are you making that up or is that real?
It's real.
Oh,
It's
wow.
really good. Yeah.
I'm totally gonna check it out.
It's
I
so
watched
specific; it has to be real. Right?
I don't know what it's called, but I watched the glass blowing one on Netflix. The
Blown Away.
Blown
It's
Away.
really good. Yeah, that's good too.
It's really
Yeah.
good. And I saw there's a Metal Shop one, but I haven't seen that one, and I don't know what that one's called.
I
I'm
don't
sure
know
that's
that
a
one.
clever title as well, but that's cool. When I lived in Seattle, Seattle's a huge glass blowing town, so there's a lot of glass studios in Seattle, and you can go. And I took a like a 1 day pass thing, and I didn't get to blow the glass, but it was cool. I got to hold like parts of tools and stuff like that, and it was a neat experience. Highly recommend it. Anyways, that was a huge huge digression from the thing. But so that was your favorite, was the pottery one.
Yeah,
what
just
about-
because. Just because.
What about yours? The I am the man on the internet.
I don't know what my favorite one was. I think I'm just surprised that Star Trek V is so referenced.
I was happy about that too.
It's like
That was like...
Star Trek V gets shit on myself. Like I shit on it all the time, but then it's like it's so iconic. The row your boat, the anti-grav shoes or whatever they are, the boots, and then the go climb a rock shirt and that rock face.
I used to
El
poo-poo on
Capitan.
Star Trek V. I used to poo-poo on Star Trek V and the motion picture when I was really young. But I love them both now.
The
Like, I
motionless
really,
picture.
yeah, like stuff like that. But I really love them now. I don't know why. And I watch Star Trek V a lot. Like there's something about,
Me too, actually.
yeah, it's like a really, I don't know. It's just like an interesting, like story. If it had been the last Star Trek for that crew, I think that would have been maybe like a letdown. So Star Trek 6 is a good way to like sign off. But yeah.
Quite
Well,
literally.
we again, we should have like a live stream or a not a live one, but another kind of a stream of some kind about one of these movies, because I could talk endlessly about.
I did a Nemesis extravaganza.
Trek chat.
I did a Nemesis extravaganza because I know that Linda and Dan Decker, like we all love Nemesis, so we talked about that. And you know,
Well, you love Nemesis.
I love
He's like, he wasn't going to say it. And then he's like, yes, I admit it. I
I'll go
love
with that.
those.
You know what? Nemesis is very important to me because it's the first Star Trek movie that I saw in theaters.
How old are you?
I know,
He's very
right?
young. What are you, 21? 22, right?
I
23.
know. Really?
25.
Okay.
Wait, what are you? How old are you
I'm
again?
28 or 29.
Oh,
I
you look
cannot
so young.
remember.
You look like a baron. You look like a wee lad.
Yeah, no. So
Yeah.
like Nemesis, but
Right.
like Nemesis is a movie that I really, really, really adored. As I've grown older and as my understanding of like film has, I guess, grown, I see more mistakes and errors or just like things that bug me more and more. But I still very much like it, and I think it's the most shit on like for no reason film that exists in Star Trek.
I think it might be
better than
the
what most
worst
people.
one.
Really? But Star Trek Into
Yeah.
Darkness exists.
Well, see,
yeah.
well, Toddy, you should read my
Okay, all right.
you should read my latest Trek Culture article, because I actually write about how Into Darkness is good, actually, and
Dear God.
among some of the many reasons why Nemesis is terrible. But this is off topic. So I'm sorry.
I will just say we should definitely do a whole Star Trek film extravaganza. I think this is like a really good, maybe a ranking or
But
something
like,
like that.
my
would be really
opinions
fun.
don't count because Star Trek 2 isn't in my top 5.
Me neither.
Oh,
Me
okay.
neither.
Because
In fact-
I think Wrath of Khan is too overrated. It's not a bad movie.
Yeah.
It's just people have bloated it into something that it's not.
And this dumbass likes Star Trek Insurrection, so you can't listen to me.
I think that's my mom's favorite movie. She likes it when the vein pops.
Oh yeah, it's a good scene.
Dougherty out. But
Dougherty out.
Shit,
Wow.
man, we're way off topic.
All right,
Okay, wait a
we'll
minute.
go to the
I gotta go
comments.
back to my
We'll
notes.
go to the comments to bring us back on topic real quick. So, so
I'm
plus
sorry.
they have. Oh, this is a follow up to Stress Free K. Plus they have all Vulcan Federation ships like the Intrepid, TOS, and DS9's Tacambra.
Okay, but like, but there's I think that there's like if we have almost all human Federation ships, to me that says that they're stocking or staffing these ships based on like maybe like where the ship is launched from, right? And we've also like kind of established that you don't have to go to Starfleet Academy on Earth to be in Starfleet, because Michael Burnham went to the Vulcan Science Academy on Vulcan. So my read on that is that potentially ships that, you know, might be launched from Vulcan would have like a predominantly Vulcan crew. Like, is that
makes sense
not?
to me. Yes.
Yeah.
Also,
It
the
makes
Vulcans
sense.
think everyone else smells, so maybe it's like a practical
Right,
reason.
yeah,
Like it could
yeah.
just be like they
No,
can't.
but there's like subtle differences. Like if the Cardassians were part of the Federation and part of Starfleet and what have you, it would be too hot or too cold or whatever it is on like a standard Earth ship, a human ship, right? But it makes sense because it makes sense to me that there are only few aliens on each. Like we follow predominantly human ships, but it makes sense to me that it's that way, and it makes sense to me that in like the TOS they talk about the fully Vulcan crew. Like it makes sense because from a practical standpoint, to adapt every vessel to every species would be just
You'd have to
crazy,
have
right?
a lot of crazy environmental
interesting.
things
It
going on.
makes more sense to have like a benzite ship where they don't all need their bloody apparatus to breathe,
Or
right? It's like, okay,
Barzans, or like the Barzans on their
is
ship didn't need
right.
it
did
either.
I say benzite?
No, Benzite's correct. That's
Either,
like the
yeah.
Benzite's these guys, but Barzans are those guys. Hey,
Hey, by the way,
that's right, him.
by the way, did we notice that somebody was playing the game in the background in the
no, I didn't
bar on the
notice that.
Cerritos?
No, I did not
Yeah.
catch that. That's awesome.
I was too puzzled asking myself if I was racist for thinking, how is this guy from Hawaii when he's clearly blue? I was like,
'Cause on Earth-
but then I was thinking, no, it makes sense. Like he could be born
Yeah.
on Earth. But then I got into this whole thing. I was like, so like benzite babies that are born on Earth, they like given a breathing apparatus from the get go, or do they live in like a sort of like bubble that helps them along? But he's not.
I
born
think
from
you
Hawaii,
answered your
so-
own question. It's like there's probably a Benzite colony or something in Hawaii, or like I don't know if I've just frozen, but
No,
I think you're
not.
just taking the wrong. You're just asking the wrong questions, man. I know.
Well, he wasn't from Hawaii anyway.
I just got done weighing the like relationship of Starfleet to Vulcans, but now I'm telling you that you shouldn't ask why a Benzite's born in Hawaii. But still, like, you know, Earth is a melting pot. I thought we've established that.
Yeah.
Earth is
Absolutely. But I was just
know.
thinking, like, it implies that there has to be some sort of like system in place for like newborns, because like newborns are very fragile. I'm assuming from every species, it's the same thing.
not necessarily. Some like
Oh, you think you can just throw the benzite out on the beach and he'll be
maybe
fine, right?
like
Have you ever dropped a baby, man? Those things just bounce right back.
That's what they're called, bouncing babies.
Oh, okay.
I know you have a baby.
So now there's a short trick coming,
toddler,
bouncing benzite babies.
but like some, like on Earth even, we have some animals, they're like within hours they're like ready to go, like they're just like
Well, that's
hopping
different though.
around.
Like a giraffe has to be born running because like there's a freaking lion gonna kill it. Like I don't necessarily think benzites might be the same, thing. Like I don't, unless it's like the Saru has to be born running because the Baul's coming.
It could be really wild. Like benzites might hatch from eggs. You don't even know. Like who knows?
Well, we
Like,
don't know.
Yeah, they could.
I mean,
Yeah,
we
they
just
could
watched
do-
an episode where a
They're
creature
pretty
can
frog-like.
separate herself into 3 parts with little horrible arms.
That's
that
very
come out of
true.
the
And there's
torso.
an entire species that when they get embarrassed, they become more.
Yeah, they
Right.
duplicate. Yeah, it's true. Lower Decks is really expanding that canon. I love it. It's really answering a lot of these questions. Your Earth questions are really interesting. You should create like like an Earth novel, like Star Trek Earth, like or something. Like, like it might be fun.
Earth.
Like this is what happens on Earth. Like it's like, well, everyone's doing everything else.
It's just chapters and chapters of people just walking around.
Stress Free K
eating.
says maybe that's why Deanna Troi never gained weight despite all the chocolate she ate. It's possible it's possible that's all she ate was chocolate, and that's why she like maybe she didn't eat anything else. I've never seen her eating anything except chocolate. And then you'd think Boimler would have went off on his own to a naked time excursion. No.
But that's not consistent with Boimler's characterization as still very ambitious and trying to get that promotion back.
Yeah, exactly. but the computer seems to think he would be ambitious even in a scenario like that. So that's cool. Do you think LD finale could bridge into Star Trek Prodigy? I don't know that they're gonna link the two of them up at all.
Prodigy is gonna be its own. Prodigy is the Voyager of this new era. It's like off doing its own thing in the Delta Quadrant. Discovery is the Voyager of this era. It's also the TOS of this era. Discovery is like the everything of this era.
Every Discovery's like the all show.
Yeah, but plugging a tweet that you put out there, Toddy, didn't you ask the Hagman brothers if the show was going to have as many Easter eggs as as Lower Decks, and they said to you as many or more? Didn't they say so?
They said slightly less or as much, and I was like, but as much is like so much.
I don't know how you complain. You've signed up for this job. No one's making you do it. So
I know I could just stop doing the Easter eggs and just do the reviews, but I feel like it adds a certain, I don't know.
I stopped doing the Easter eggs. I used to write these articles. I used to write these, like 25 Easter eggs from Lower Decks, but they ended up being like 50. So I had to call it quits, man.
I get a lot of people that are like, well, I get a lot of people. A few people tell me like it's interesting that you found this or that, and they're like, I don't know. So I guess in the long term, if someone's rewatching this 20 years from now, it might be interesting to see like the kind of Easter eggs that existed. But
they're gonna go to Jorg's Twitter anyway.
That's
Jörg.
Yuck. But I speak with Jörg quite often, and I'm like, yo, I'm just jacking your images at this point. Like, I'm not. There's no point in me remaking the same collage that you made.
That's what Jörg likes. He doesn't mind, as far as I can tell.
He's fine.
He doesn't mind.
I shut him out.
You should start shouting him out. Yeah, you should definitely.
He doesn't even need to shout it out, but I do.
Jörg is on the verge of getting hired by them for something. I swear.
Already,
he needs to be a creative consultant. Like just at least
a details consultant.
At least take its computer. Like from what I understand, it's just full of Star Trek images and it's all cataloged very well.
Anyways,
Jörg will never hear this because he also doesn't listen to podcasts.
He never said he doesn't. Oh, he doesn't listen. He doesn't watch videos. He doesn't listen. He doesn't. He's not on podcasts and he's not in videos. Anyway, I get priority. Apparently, I told him.
What were we talking about?
We want to do a show.
I don't think we've gotten a technical manual for the Cerritos, but I've heard like up to holodeck 4, so maybe they have 4 holodecks, maybe they have more.
I like the fact that they mentioned cast of warriors. The Klingons, this is unrelated, but the Klingons mentioned cast, the warrior cast at one point. That is also a reference to like Enterprise, but I like the idea that that there were different Klingons and different styles of Klingons, and there were different castes. There's like the scientific caste and the warrior caste, and that was like created or invented in Enterprise. But then, of course, like none of Star Trek had referenced it before. So I like that they kind of brought that back, even if it's just a one-word mention.
Well, to your point, I actually was going to say that one of the things I loved best about this episode was that it took the like kind of silly piratey Klingons that we kind of like got more and more of in DS9 and Voyager, and actually gave us some like well-rounded individuals on the ship. I don't remember the main guy's name. It wasn't what was it?
Mock,
something like that. Okay, so the Boimler of Cleons.
I think that was Mock.
Like they, he was a logical Klingon, and I appreciated that sort of like that, like the transition from making fun of him for being logical to then going to like the Vulcans and having a less logical Vulcan, right? Like there was that kind of like cool dynamic going on. But again, it took the Klingons, and there were a bunch of like Klingon cliches in there, but there was at least the well-rounded Boimer version whose name I can't remember, unfortunately.
It felt great to see an episode. I mean, I know we've had this before, like we've been on Vulcan ships and we've been on Klingon ships before in Star Trek, but it felt like the freshest take, I guess, because it's the most in the future in a weird way, like that we've seen until Picard, I guess, or then Discovery is the most. It's weird, it's complicated. There's 3 different most in the futures, but regardless, it was like the newest take on them, and I like things like. I like hearing things like how he was how like the Klingon ethos even changes from like Star Trek 3, where like most of the Klingons we meet are suspicious of the Federation. Of course, there's enemies at that point. To Star Trek 6, where you get to see like Azit Burr and General Gorkon. Ambassador Gorkon. And you know, you start to see a different type of Klingon that's like more diplomatic and more future thinking and less warrior thinking, you know, and like sees allies in the Federation and others. And here you have, I think his name is Mock, and I love that. Yeah, he was like, these are not our enemies. Like there was no like doubt in his mind about it, like that there's a coalition and that they're friends and that there's a peace and everything. Like, and he even says to the captain, he's like, people who've tried to you know, sabotage peace in the past have always failed. You know, like there's these like really cool things that are new kind of ways that I've heard Klingons speak. It's not like a way that we've heard them speak, you know, previously that I can remember. And so I like that a lot. It was very, very cool.
Yeah, I love that.
So an Easter egg that has to be like no one's gonna pick up on. Jonathan Frakes. No, Jonathan Frakes is in Gargoyles.
Yes.
He does the voice in Gargoyles, and the Klingon opera that the dude is listening to is the beginning of the theme for Gargoyles.
No way, it is?
Yeah, it goes da 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 da, and then it cuts off. And so, considering like Riker had a whole episode where he was in a Klingon pirate ship, I feel like they went for that on purpose. But
that was a proper Klingon ship. He wasn't on a Klingon pirate ship, was he?
No, he wasn't a proper Klingon ship. It's just as Paul was saying, they were very piratey.
And
especially
I
in that episode, you know, they're very eccentric, I guess, in that episode. But yeah, the music, it's sung like it's very high in this episode, and it's sung by like it's sung rather than played. But it is the few notes from Gargoyles, from the Gargoyles.
I used to watch
theme.
Gargoyles and I didn't pick that up. So
you need to rewatch Gargoyles now.
Yeah.
Everyone has a team. G cast is in that. Yeah.
It's super
cool.
It's
amazing.
Where is it streaming?
Disney Plus.
Disney Plus has it? Oh, I didn't realize.
Disney Plus has it.
On my way.
That is the first show I watched
for Disney
on Disney
Plus. I wish they would release a Keishon toy. He was so adorable with a warning on the box, please don't play with me. That you can get on Etsy. Mike McMahon posted about it. I'll try to find the tweet and send it to you, Ulysses.
Yeah, people are making those now,
Toddy is now a baby bear. Yes, Toddy, you give off baby bear vibes. It's cool.
Do I?
Yeah, a little bit. I don't know. A little bit of baby bear, a little bit of whatever Ransom's Hawaiian Club is.
A bunch of posers.
Oh
no. Let's see, a lot of stuff people talking about. Braxton's here and he says he likes Nemesis also, and Boat Rex like fighting words. By the way, tomorrow night
like a year ago. What are you reading?
What's that?
Those comments were from like
it's just coming up now.
week.
How do you? You guys watch on? Well, Paul doesn't watch, but you're watching on YouTube.
I have the same comment stream as you.
Oh, it's weird. Mine isn't. Oh, I see a little button that says new comments. Like, there we go.
Damn it.
Sorry, let me
get with the times.
There's a lot of comments. Okay, I'm not going to be able to get to all the comments, folks, in the chat. I'm so sorry.
It's the end.
There's like a ton.
You need to give your 13 out of 10 and then leave.
Well, since I gave last week's episode an 11, I have to give this one an 11 also. And I just want to say, I know we could probably talk about this for hours and hours, but I don't know. Lower Decks, I don't know. It's hard. It's getting harder. I didn't want to say it's like one of my favorite Star Trek shows.
The Borg ending was hilarious. I'm sorry.
Yeah, that was really, really funny. I was kind of holding off on it. I was one of these people, I guess. I was holding off on saying it's one of my favorite Star Trek shows just because it's not live action, and I wanted to reserve that like for like those shows. So I was like a live action
elitist.
Yeah, I was a live action elitist. But every episode makes that harder and harder and harder because Lower Decks is just so damn good, and it's adding and enriching the Star Trek story and the Star Trek canon and the Star Trek
this is Boimer's anus that's
no, no, it's not. But no, no. I like the whole scene, especially when Mariner ejects everyone because it's like the Tsiolkovsky. It's just that's all it is. Like it's like it just makes me think of the Tsiolkovsky. Okay, like
Yeah, that's why
what
that
it's about.
happened. Was somebody
Yeah,
was sober on this cup.
and the Tsiolkovsky
They
just
couldn't
stays
stand it
tonight.
anymore, so they opened
Yeah,
the
they just
airlock.
like
Yeah.
open the airlock. It's totally what happens. Because why would you open it otherwise? Anyways, yes. So this was an amazing, amazing episode. I can't even imagine what the freaking finale is going to be like. But I know it's probably going to be my new favorite as well.
Will Shax die again?
Will Boimler get promoted again? I want
It's
Boimler
like
to
the
get
same
promoted
episode.
again, and then lose the promotion.
Audience, give us your predictions in the chat for the finale, while Toddy and Paul tell us their closing thoughts and ratings.
Who's going first?
I guess I will, since you're looking at something on the internet.
No, I'm trying to find my ratings.
Oh, your spreadsheet. Okay. Your Excel.
Where is it? There it is.
Look, I'm gonna give it like a 9.5. I'm not gonna like.
damn.
I'm not gonna be like one of these people who says it's like a perfect episode. It wasn't perfect because the Boimler pretending to be Hawaiian kind of bugged me. Like I didn't need that part. But I have been saying for weeks now that I wanted Lower Decks to do something different, and they did something different and successfully. And like you're saying, like you're like that you're biased to live action, and I think I am too, because a lot of times I don't really like look forward to Lower Decks, but every time I do watch Lower Decks, I'm pleased with the product that they give us. And this week I thought especially was like something like really worth even the Megado episode, or like a couple episodes that we thought were less good than all the other really good episodes. So yeah, it was great.
Nice, a 9.5. I don't keep track of the ratings, but I think that's like one of your highest this whole season, so that's very
Totally
cool.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
Lower Decks is insidious, right? It gets it makes you like, what's that thing that they say with like the root beer, whatever it is?
I don't know. I don't know what you're referring
So cloying and bubbly, just like the Federation.
There you go. Lower Decks is great. Lower Decks is great. This was a great episode. I give it a strong 9 because 10s are only reserved for like the flawless, most impeccable of episodes. But like,
which you'd be surprised at what episodes Toddy has given a 10 in our Starfleet Boy TNG discussions. Just FYI.
What did I give a 10?
I can't remember, but I remember one being like, "I'm gonna
Code of
regret
Honor.
giving this a 10." Yeah.
No, it was the
He
Pegasus.
wasn't around
I think I gave the Pegasus.
Racist
Yeah.
pig.
It was the Pegasus.
That was an astonishing 10, but I think the Pegasus is amazing. I'm sorry. This was great. This was fantastic. I guess the only small thing, and this is confusing and hypocritical of me because I've been wanting them to like explain and expand upon the Pakled story. I just feel like it might be a little redundant to go into like a big Pakled battle and then someone comes in and saves the day again around the end of the season. But it's a very small gripe. But it was still amazing. I had a lot of fun, and the jokes are getting like increasingly I don't know, like consistently good, I find, and I'm smiling and having laughs throughout the episodes now. Whereas like in the first season there would be spikes of laughter, I guess. So yeah,
You and those spikes. Very nice.
You?
Any predictions for final episode? Any more predictions?
I swore off predicting.
Okay.
But here's the thing. Like, I think that like there's a whole discussion about like the prediction culture that we've created on YouTube. Here's what I'll say. I love that we figured out who the spy is who's been helping the Pakleds. We had a big confrontation with the Pakleds. I have no idea what's going to happen next week, and I love that. It's almost like there's like a blank slate here. I mean, we obviously need to see the Titan again, and we need to figure out what's been going on with Lieutenant William Boimler. But that's like not a lot. That's like not like a high stakes thing. So anything can happen. I love it.
Anything can happen, and that's what Mike McMahon said at the beginning of the season before it was released. He's like, everyone's gonna try to figure out what's happening. You have no idea, and I really don't know. Here we go.
All right, this is it. This is okay. This is we're going to limit our prediction to this yes or no question.
Okay.
Do
all
we
right.
think it's going to be a part one of a double episode?
Oh, like we have to wait a
Like-
whole season.
Yeah, like
a
the TNG
cliffhanger?
old thing, like cliffhanger, just for the jokes of
Ooh.
doing a cliffhanger. Like,
It
do
would
you
be
guys-
it would fit because season 2 was the first cliffhanger. No, season 2 was Shades of Grey. So I don't know.
That would be great if they did a Shades of Grey.
Oh dear God! There was a clip show. I would be so offended.
Especially now that the Pakled thing has, been kind of.
I
put
couldn't
to bed
even
a little
hate on
bit.
it.
It's
'cause
gonna
it would
be
be
a
such a
Shades of
joke.
Grey.
It's not,
You're
it's not.
100%
Bullshit.
like predicted
Ransom
it.
lying on a sick bay bed.
It's gonna be a Shades of Grey.
All right.
Because conspiracy was like
No,
solved
no.
in one episode,
no.
and so yeah, it's gonna be.
I
Shades
do
of
think it's
Grey.
gonna be a part one though.
You think it's gonna be a cliffhanger? I hope not. I hate waiting. I hate waiting a whole season. I mean, in between a season, like all the way till next year. But it'd be okay if
But
it.
this, I
it
think,
were.
this also because like they were already greenlit for season 3 when season 2 was greenlit. They've been writing these things back to back, like production's really moving. So I feel like the wait will be a year. It won't be like, oh, they don't know when Picard season 2 is coming out compared to season 1. You know what I mean? It's not going to be like, oh, we can't do like a cliffhanger if it comes out 3 years later.
I mean, it's okay. I mean, a lot of shows do cliffhangers, and it's all good. Like, I'm not really.
Some shows do cliffhangers and they get canceled.
And then they
Don't
get
get me wrong.
canceled, which would show.
I don't know.
What
I
you
say this.
showing,
I'm so,
man?
I'm so mean.
Enterprise.
I'm
No,
sure
just-
there are plenty of shows that have done this.
The Klingon Council will play a part, says
Enterprise.
Ulysses, and the Pakled thing, maybe a joint effort. Maybe we'll see Worf. Maybe that's a big surprise coming up if the Klingon Council is getting involved. Maybe they'll dispatch him as like a special envoy or something like that. And then some people predict that the Duras sisters might be involved. And then some people say no. Stress-free
They're
cases no.
Dead. So it's hard to get.
Yeah,
them
because they got
involved.
blowed up. It's true. So it'd
R.I.P.
be-
though. Miss those girls.
Well,
yeah,
wasn't there the young Duras lad? The
There is the Duras.
The
Worf
young
killed
Duras-
him.
oh,
Worf
damn it.
killed him in
Oh, Worf
Sword of
killed him, that's
Kalis.
right.
However, Bator had a child between TNG season 7 and Generations, so
Ooh.
there is the potential for another
Is
Duras
that
out there.
is that child with another Klingon or with a Romulan that they're always working with the Romulans? So it's like a Romulan Klingon child.
That would be cool. That would be cool. We don't know who.
Oh, Ulysses actually meant
Bator was
other
having
Duras
sex
family
with.
members. I read that
Sure.
wrong.
Yeah, I mean they add Sung family members all the time. They could just add a Duras family member random, right? Just like, oh, by the way, there was this one. He was rejected even by the Duras family.
The captain of the I don't know if you guys, if I'm freezing, but we're gonna end the stream in a
Stop
second. But
thinking
the captain of the Klingon ship, the Bird of Prey, seemed like a Duras family member for sure. He had like the Duras vibe. I keep freezing, so I'm just gonna say thank you everyone for tuning in. You can check out Paul Sutherland on Twitter at Paul. Just follow him with his name. It's at Paul Sutherland, and you can also see his content on Trek Culture. And you've got some videos out that you wrote that are out right now. Paul, if you can hear me, go ahead and say anything else.
Yeah, I can hear you.
You're the only one that thinks that you're freezing, but okay, it's fine.
Yeah, Adam Cleary just did another one of my Starships videos. We did the Strange New Worlds Enterprise, or the Disco Prize, I guess, because it's presumptuous to imagine that it's the same ship from Strange New Worlds. And he basically just calls out anyone who might have a problem with Discovery's continuity issues. So enjoy.
Can't wait. I will go see it. That's cool.
Yeah.
How scandalous.
Super scandalous. And then, but I can't wait to see his argument because I want to bolster my own argument that I'm trying to make. So I'll have to go and watch. What about you, Toddy? What's new? I saw you just dropped your video from last week's Lower Decks review.
I dropped that yesterday. I'll be dropping this one. Hopefully, I try to keep to like the Tuesday schedule, but sometimes it's difficult. So sometimes it comes out, Wednesday. But yeah, there'll be the new review for this episode, review an Easter eggs video, and I've been working on that TOS episode as well. The Galileo 7. I'm trying to put that review out eventually as well.
Excellent.
So yeah.
Excellent. And then just a couple quick updates tomorrow. You can check out Text Trek at 8:30 p.m. Eastern Daylight Time, or 7:30 p.m. Central Time, where they're located. Where they'll do a deep and fun dive of this episode of Lower Decks. So if you aren't tired of hearing about Lower Decks, go over to the Text Trek and check that out. And then instead of Starfleet Boy After Dark, tomorrow night it's going to be Boat Wreck After Dark on Boat Wreck's channel. So if you're interested in that, go and subscribe. It's going to be more fun than Starfleet Boy After Dark. Starfleet Boy's taking a little holiday, so Boat Wreck's going to do his After Dark thing, and I definitely will try to make an appearance probably later. So come and check that out. Check those shenanigans out. Let's see what those are like. And then also our TOS discussions, which take place on Saturday. Nothing's changing about the time, but this Saturday we are not going to do a discussion because Text Trek is going to do coverage of the New York Comic-Con announcements, which take place. So go check that out. And I imagine Trek Culture and Trek Central is also doing the same thing. So choose your flavor.
Deep Space Nine Remaster is what's going to be announced for sure, right?
Oh,
I wish I would die.
Right.
If that happened, I would like make one of those videos where you cry on video, like, you know, to show how emotionally affected you are. I would 100% just start crying and like talking about how much that means to me, because it does. It actually does mean a lot.
So we're gonna get a trailer for Discovery and for Prodigy, and not for
sure.
Strange New Worlds.
Again, well, we got a little sizzle of Strange New Worlds. It's true.
Not enough.
So check that out, and then and then on Sunday he's also going to cover Sunday, because I guess it's both days. So he's also going to cover it, and
they'll have another video of Anson Mount talking about how the show's doing episodic format. That's what they'll have.
We'll see the uniforms from here up. Yeah, and the set's going to be very blurry. Hey, I just want to add, Dom Paris, I hope you're enjoying your sleep.
Yes,
what is
Dom
that?
was supposed to be on this episode, but it's midnight 30. Well, when we started, it was midnight 30. It's now 1:30 a.m. In the UK, or I guess they call it. Oh no, it is 1:30 a.m. I've heard a lot of folks in the UK using 24-hour time instead of 12-hour time, but I think that's uncivilized.
That's what they do in Europe.
I'm glad you covered me up saying I think that's uncivilized. Anyways,
What?
I said it. I said
Oh,
I think
okay.
it's uncivilized.
I talked over you when you said that.
Yeah, when I said that, but I appreciated it. But even though I just put myself.
Well,
back
I
in.
bought a movie ticket for 10:25 because I thought it was like a matinee, right? But it wasn't. It was 10:25 p.m. because the bloody things. So now I've got
AM. You mean it would have been AM?
It should have been AM, but it was PM. I just assumed it was 10:25 in the morning because like who writes 10:25 and you got to look at if it's PM.
So
by the way,
see a movie at 10 a.m.
Yeah, that's the early show. Matinee is the show that's in the afternoon, right before the evening show.
Matinee is in the morning.
No.
Matinee, matin, morning. It's a French word for morning.
Yeah, but here, Paul, back me up on this real quick before we end the stream.
What?
Here in the U.S., a matinee is usually like at 5 or 6, right? Like it's a.
I think normal people go see a matinee at 5 or 6, but no, I think the theaters around here usually open at like 11 a.m.
A matinee is.
You could go for cheap.
Anyway.
It's like
now I have the website in French, so it says 22:25, and you know it's
all right
at night.
Live long and prosper, and don't use 24-hour time.